and students, next problem of 254. A metal rod of uniform cross sectional area A is connected with the steam. Steam temperature is 100 degrees centigrade and melting ice temperature is 0 degrees centigrade. Then heat transmitted from high temperature to low temperature from steam to ice. In the steady state, the rate of flow of the heat is constant. They asked is how much ice is melted is the question. All are given in the CGS unit. I converted into S units, but actually not required because the result is also in CGS units only. Length is 25 centimeters, area of cross section is 5 centimeters square. Time is 1 minute. In 1 minute, the coefficient of thermal conductivity of the rod is 0.8 calories per centimeter per degree per second, please. This K, calories per centimeter per degree per centigrade, this K value. K is also the amount of heat transmitted in the time T. Q is nothing but equal to K is proportional to A into theta 1 minus theta 2 by L. This is the temperature gradient into time into area. Proportional to constant is K you will get. So K, if you take the relationship, what you get is K is equals to Q by T. Q by T is the heat energy by time. Heat energy by time is nothing but power. This is nothing but equal to thermal power we can take, that is transmitted, into Q by T into by A into temperature gradient, theta 1 difference theta 2. This is taken as a delta theta into time into length L. So how we can take L is like this. Temperature gradient definition also taken from this relationship. This K units, this is a power watt, this is a meter square by meter is meter per Kelvin is a SI unit. Okay, but in taking of the calories, no, this calories per second, this is a per centimeter per degree centigrade or per Kelvin. Temperature difference degree centigrade degree Kelvin same only. So we take this temperature difference is equals to, given is 100 minus temperature difference theta 1 difference theta 2 is 100 minus 0, which is equal to 100 degrees centigrade. The heat, they asked to find out how much ice melted. Amount of ice melted because of the heat Q is Q equal to M into L ice. L ice is latent heat of ice is nothing but equal to 80 calories per gram. That is called latent heat of fusion of ice, or the heat energy removed from the water to convert into ice. Same amount of heat you have to add to melt the ice also. So M ice, if you take this L ice, go to the denominator and get the expression for M ice equal to Ka into temperature difference into time by L into L ice. Substituting the values of the CGS units in the CGS units, the answer you will get is 12 grams. If you take all S units, no, you will get in kgs. At the end also you can convert into kgs if required. Next question number 268. And one more thing is there are problems where ice block is dropped from some height. How much ice is melted? H total mass is M, and part of the ice melted is a fraction of it, or percentage they may be giving you. The ice melted formula is equals to Q equal to M into ice, L ice, and the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. So potential energy is the energy equal to mgh is equals to heat energy is nothing but equal to this M into specific melting means L ice into change temperature. This M ice, this is the total mass, this is the ice melted from it. Potential energy converted into kinetic energies. If total ice melted, both masses are equal only. Next, this question number 268. Two black bodies at temperatures 327 degrees centigrade, 627 centigrade have surrounding temperature. The surroundings is also called as ambient. Surrounding means ambient temperature. The room temperature is ambient temperature. Ratio of the emission powers we asked. Emission power is also generally called as intensity, meaning same only. The energy radiated per second per unit area is called emission power. And according to Stephen's law, the emission power is nothing but equal to is proportional to T to the power of 4. But if the surrounding temperature is vacuum, surrounding is vacuum, in the case of the vacuum, if you have taken, the temperature is 0. If the object is kept in the vacuum, like a candlelight bulb, inside a partial vacuum is there, almost vacuum only takes. Sun is there, surrounded by the vacuum. For vacuum, temperature C0 is equals to 0 Kelvin you have to use. Vacuum don't have any material, so no temperatures. 0 Kelvin. Theoretically, practically, we cannot get any other material temperature 0 Kelvin, but vacuum temperature is taken as the reference temperature 0 Kelvins. So in this case, according to Stephen's law, this emission power is proportional to T to the power of 4 in vacuum. But Stephen-Weiss law, according to Stephen-Weiss law, that emission power, Stephen-Boltzmann law or Weiss law, that emission power is proportional to T to the power of 4 minus T naught to the power of 4 if the surrounding temperature is not a vacuum. Candle light you keep in the room, then that candle temperature is T and surrounding room temperature is T naught. But the filament of the bulb, if you have taken, means bulb filament is surrounded by the vacuum, so T naught equal to K. There you have to use only T to the power of 4. One more thing, if it is not a black body, you will get along with sigma. Sigma is called the Wien's constant. This sigma units are also important, value also important. And along with sigma you will get one more term called as the emissivity. For the black body, emissivity is 1. If it is not a black body, that you have to use. But this part will not be asked for up to even NEET exam also. For JEE purpose, probably most rarely will be asked, but mostly will be given for the black body. Directly can take in terms of the sigma terms. Vacuum means T naught is 0. But in this problem, what they mentioned is temperature given centigrade converted into Kelvin scale. Two bodies are taken, T1 and T2 plus 273. If you add, you will get the temperatures in Kelvin scales here. 27 degrees centigrade room temperature means 300 kelvins you will get, and corresponding ratio of the intensity if you take, the sigma is cancelled, emission powers, and in case if they ask you power only, then area comes here. Different areas are given, area take here. If they are spheres, area equal to 4 pi r square. So here comes is r square, r1 square by r2 square ratio comes. Here energy by time is power only, power per area is equals to, ratio is only temperature ratios, T to the 1 to the power of 4, T naught to the power of 4 by T to the power of 4, T naught to the power of 4. But temperature here is 600, 300, 900, 300. So we can simplify this as 6 to the power of 4, 3 to the power of 4 into 100 to the power of 4, denominator cancels. So that is not required. Just take only the numbers other than zeros. Equal zeros are there means. So that will be given like that only. 6 to the power of 4, 3 to the power of 4 by 9 to the power of 4, 3 to the power. You can separately calculate this, or I taken this 3 to the power of 4 common out. Then you will get a 3 to the 6 to the power of 4, 3 to the power of 4 common taken out. For the numerator and denominator, result is 2 to the power of 4 minus 1 by 3 to the power of 4 minus 1. 2 to the power of 4 is 16 minus 1 is 15. 3 to the power of 4 is nothing but equal to 81 minus 1 is 80. The ratio becomes equal to 3 by 16. Next, 278 Carnot engine. Carnot cycle graph is also important. In the case of the Carnot engine, heat is taken from the hot body to the working mechanism, and some part of the heat energy converted into work, remaining part is given to the surroundings. Sink is at low temperature, source is at high temperatures, and temperatures, if they are given centigrade scale, must convert into Kelvin scale. The temperatures of the source, high temperature, they may not mention source and sink. You must know that high temperature, whatever is given is supposed to be source, and low temperature is supposed to be sink. Okay, heat is taken from the source to the mechanism. Working mechanism is Q1, given to the surroundings is Q2. Okay, temperature ratio, the T1 by T2, the efficient. So we are taking this T1, T2, Q1 is given, Q2 you are asked to find out. Temperature is proportional to heat, so T1 by T2 equal to Q1 by Q2 is equals to, we give the value expression Q2 equal to Q1 and T2 by T1. The result is 450 calories of heat energy given to sink. To sink, this is to sink, surrounding which absorbs is called as a sink. And efficiency, they didn't ask here. The efficiency they asked, that is efficiency problems are also very important one place. Efficiency equal to 1 minus T2 by minus T1. This is sink temperature, low temperature by high temperature. It is also equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1. Thus efficiency do not depend on what metal you are using, it only depends on the temperatures of the source and sink. And efficiency 100% is not possible, because it is not possible to have T2 equal to, this is a capital temperature, T means Kelvin scales, T2 0 kelvins, if you are taken, then only the efficiency is 1 means 100%, practically not possible to reach 0 kelvins, or T1 should be infinity, practically not possible. And source and sink ideal cases must have the high thermal capacity, infinite thermal capacity, so that by giving the heat the temperature should not change, by taking the heat temperature should not change. That is possible only if you take the thermal capacity of infinity for the source material and sink materials. All heat engines, petrol engines, etc. work with the principle of the this same principles. Heat engines efficiency is calculated based on the temperature differences, only depending on the temperature difference. But steam, if they generally repeated also, steam and ice if you have taken means steam temperature is 100 Kelvin, 100 degrees centigrade plus 273, which equal to 373 kelvins. And ice if you take, that is a 0 degree centigrade plus 273, which equal to 273 kelvins. So if you calculate based on these two, the efficiency will be 26% you will get. If they are the percentage means into 100% you have to take. And work out all the problems linked to the Carnot engine, that they are very important ones. And they will ask you sometimes what is the heat given or work done cancels. Work done is the heat of taken to the mechanism. Working mechanism is piston cylinder system generally for the machines. Heat absorbed is Q1 is supposed to be equal to W plus Q2. W work done is nothing but equal to Q1 minus Q2. They may ask in this way also. And efficiency is always output by input. Output means how much work is given out and how much heat is taken in. That is based on the efficiencies. For the refrigerators, you will get the reverse relationship. If refrigerator takes the heat from sink, from the cold box, and working mechanism is done by electricity motors and pump and refrigerating fluids by compression, so fluorocarbons or ammonia preferred. By compression, we can convert that liquid from gaseous state to liquid state. So work is inwards. Qt is taken out from the cold body and then given to the hot body, means surrounding room. If you open the refrigerator, the room will not be cooled up because inside outside both temperatures become same only. But instead room temperature increases because the electrical energy is consumed by the electric motor, so room temperature increases. If you switch on the fan and close all sides in the windows and doors, room temperature increases because the kinetic energy of the air molecules increases. Refrigerators output by input is called as a performance. That is a beta taken symbol. This is a eta is taken symbol for the efficiencies. Eta beta relation also there. Just check up that. Generally refrigerator performance they don't ask, but refrigerator performance and eta relationship they will ask. They will just go through the synopsis corresponding to that performance. That is also related to the similar to efficiency. Output by input. How much output heat taken out Q2. Input work done. Reverse relations you have to take. Next level 2 problems. VT graphs. All the graphs are important in these the graphs, and percentage problems are very important ones. Here VT graph is given for the two different pressures mentioned, but you have to keep something constant here because three variables comparison will be difficult. So what we take is, we take T constant you can take, or V constant I can take. For example, I am taking the V constant. For the given V, you will the two T values for P1 and P2. P1 temperature is T1, P2 temperature is T2. So temperature is increasing away from the origin, volume increasing away from the origin. So T2 is more than T1. T2 is corresponding to P2 when V is constant. The relation is PV equal to nRT, N and R are constant. However, so we are to taking here V is also constant you have taken. Then in that case what happens here is P is proportional to temperature. More temperature, more pressure it means. So temperature T2 is more than T1. Therefore, T2 is corresponding to P2, T1 is corresponding to P1. In that case, P2 is greater than P1. Check up other graphs also. And PV graphs are called as a indicator diagrams. They used to help us to find the value of the work done. Here the area of the PV graph is nothing but equal to work done is equals to W is equals to area of the PV graphs. And P into V is have the dimensions from the work or energies. Whatever the graph given, if they give the clockwise, arrow mark is towards the right side. Work done by this work done area is taken as a positive. If the arrow mark is reversed, now work done is taken as a negative. So in this case, they asked only this line. That line you divide into parts. So what you get is this is rectangular portion and this is a triangular portion you will get. So area of the triangle plus area of the rectangle is nothing but equal to amount of work done. Don't take these areas on the pressure side. You take on the volume side only. So work done is nothing but equal to in this graph P1 V1, P2 V1 to P2 V2 is the path given for us. Pressure values on the y-axis mentioned as into 10 to the power of 5, 1 unit here, 5 units here, starting and ending points. And volumes, cubic meters mentioned, and starting value P1 V1 corresponding V1 is 1 and V2 is corresponding to is 5 in cubic meters. So SI units only will get. So work done is nothing but equal to area of the triangle plus area of the rectangle. What is the area of the triangle is nothing but equal to half, rectangle is half into base, area of the triangle is half into base into height. Base is 5 minus 1, height is 5 minus 1. So half into 5 minus 1 into 5 minus 1 into this power, multiply with pressure values into 10 to the power of 5. 5 into 10 to the power of 5, the result is 16 by 2 into 10 to the power of 5. But the triangle, this rectangle area is half base into length into breadth, means 5 minus 1 into 1 into 10 to the power of 5. The result is 12 into 10 to the power of 5 joules, positive only. If the arrow mark is reverse, no, take it as a negative ones. Negative work. Next, this extra point. Thermal resistance. Thermal resistance is equal to L by Ka. K is the thermal conductivity, coefficient of thermal conductivity. Q equal to Ka into theta 2 minus theta 1 difference theta 2. Whatever is the difference, take it as a positive. Into T by L. Thermal resistance that offers the resistance for the flow of the heat through the materials is called thermal resistance. That is equals to L by Ka. K comes in the denominator. So better conductor have the K value very high, resistance is less. But the insulator's K is very high. air, dry air is insulator, cork is also insulators, and is equals to temperature difference by Q. This is Q into T. This part is important. If the conductors are connected in series, then series resistance, just like electrical resistance, series are added. R series equals to R1 plus R2. That means total length is L1 plus L2. It becomes the resultant equal to single rod. That means L by K series into A. A uniform constant you have to take. Unequal area of cross section taken means smaller one only you have to take into the picture. But in general they will give is equal area of cross section they will give. So here A1 is equals to A2. L is equals to L1 plus L2 you have to use. And series is equals to R series equal to R1 plus R2. If they are connected in parallel, you take a L1 equal to L2. L1 equal to L2, but area cross section can be different you have to take. And here 1 by R resultant equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 thermal resistances, just like the electrical resistance we have to use. That means you will get the reverse ratio of this. K1 A1 by L equal to K2 A2 by L. This will becomes equal to Ka by L. What is A? A is nothing but equal to A1 plus A2 resultant. This is resultant value. Here L is equals to L1 plus L2. These are resultant series combinations. This is a parallel combination, resultant ones. Next, two series you are kept means two conductors connected in series with the different lengths, same area of cross sections, and temperature difference are T1 and Theta1 and Theta2. Junction temperature formula is, you can calculate the temperature by this method also. L temperature gradient Theta1 by Theta2 by L remains constant. So this temperature difference by total length is also equal to temperature difference by this length, is also equal to temperature difference by this length. Like that also you can take, but direct formula symbols also they will ask you, and these symbols formulas you have to remember, and for the problems also you have to you must be able to calculate from this. So you remember the formula always. Theta naught is equals to K1 Theta1 L2 plus K2 Theta2 L1 by K1 L1 plus K1 L2 plus K2 L1. This part will be Theta1 Theta2, numerator extra comes. If same lengths are given means L1 equal to L2. This L1 cancel, the result is you can modify this K1 Theta1 plus K2 Theta2 by K1 plus K2 it comes. Same conductors means K1 equal to K2. One more thing is for these conductors, if they give the conductors connected like this in the form of the Wheatstone bridge, like this. Wheatstone bridge, if the conductors, rods connected like this, heat is coming is divided, just like the Wheatstone bridge. If all this K1, K2, K3, K4, if K1 by K2 is equals to K3 by K4, then center rod whatever it is, just remove it. Then resultant, these two are in series, coming in parallel you have to take. Instead of K1, K2, they may give thermal resistances. Thermal resistance are like this ratio balanced just like the Wheatstone bridge. Then similar conditions you have to take. If all are same, K1, resultant between these two thermal conductivity is also K1 only. K1 by K2 is equals to K3 by K4, it is means it is balanced Wheatstone bridge. The center rod you have to simply remove it. All are equal means result is also same value you have to take for the thermal resistances. One more problem left out, last one, so I want to discuss. It is important ones repeatedly asked for the all competitive exams. Question number 74. And Newton's law of cooling graph is also important. Please go through that. Specific heat of the water is maximum in that graphs, topmost ones. A body takes a dq 4 minutes to cool from 100 degrees centigrade to 70 degrees centigrade. The time taken by it to cool from 70 to 40 is how much? Surrounding room temperature is 15 degrees centigrade. Cooling it is. Cooling of the object, what they told is theta 1 is 100 degrees centigrade and theta 2 is 70 degrees centigrade. Room temperature theta naught is 15 degrees centigrade. How much time it is taking is T1 is equals to 4 minutes. Next case is theta 3 is 70 degrees centigrade to theta 4 is 40 degrees centigrade. The time taken T2 is equals to how much they have to find out. The calculation for this is rate of cooling is d theta by dt, not dq by dt. It is d theta by dt. Time, you can take it as a t, I will take, is equals to minus k. Minus indicates as the time increases the temperature goes on decreasing into the mean excess temperature of the object over the surroundings. Mean means average. Theta 1 plus theta by 2 minus theta naught. Theta naught is the surrounding temperature, ambient temperature. T theta is the temperature difference. First case, if you take a first case is theta 1 minus theta 2 means 100 minus 70 by T1. T1 is 4 minutes. E is equals to minus K into 100 plus 70 by 2 minus 15. You calculate this expression, you will get some expression in terms of the K. Same thing you repeat for the second case. The second case is temperature difference, that is 70 to 40, that is also becomes 30, this is also 30, that is also 30 you will get. So it is going to be 70 minus 40 by T2, this you have to find out. E is equals to minus K into 70 plus 40 by 2 minus 15 degrees centigrade. Solving these two, you will get the expression for time value T2 equal to 7 minutes. This is important, very important problem. If you take this heat transmitted, Q formula what we discussed is heat gained or lost, dQ equal to ms into dt. This dt is a temperature difference, not a time, careful with the symbol. If you divide with time, so this will take it as equals to d theta to avoid the confusion with the time. Divided with dt, this becomes equal to by dt. dq by dt is called as the rate of loss of heat, it is Q. Here temperature decrease, this is called as the rate of cooling. Rate of cooling is d theta by dt. Rate of loss of heat is nothing but equal to dq by dt. Both are proportional. Mass into specific heat it is. Density is equals to mass by volume 4 by 3 pi r cube if it is a spherical cases. Mass you have to substitute here. They will ask you the rate of cooling related to the mass and related to the specific heat they may ask you. So rate of cooling d theta by dt is inversely proportional to mass and specific heat. Water has the high specific heat, so cooled it very slowly. Rate of cooling is very less. We'll stop with this